You're watching Lansdowne Raw with the voice of the fans. Mikey Johnston is out, for March. Does that mean the return of Szmodics and King Didzy, the hat-trick king? It's all coming up on Lansdowne Raw, and it's live. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Conor McAvoy, Rep Tracker himself, for another Lansdowne Raw live, where we're going to catch up on all the latest news in Irish football. The Rep Tracker himself is going to give us his predicted Ireland squad. We're going to chat about Mikey Johnston, who has been ruled out of the March window, the possible return of Szmodics. We want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. But where else can we not possibly start? I'm going to give you in a moment, Conor. I'm going to give you the glory. It's all about one man who retired from Irish international duty far too early. It's King Didzy, the hat-trick man himself, still scoring goals. What more can we say about an absolute cult hero, Didzy? The floor is yours, Conor. How are you getting on? Talk to me about King Didzy.
I'm great. Although we do have a new sponsor on the channel, which we'd like to thank for first.
I'm going to come into that. I forget now, but we've already had. Look, I've got to now throw up a comment here. Look at this. The real Rep Tracker. There he goes. Didzy in the box. Didzy in the box. No. There you go.
It's a new one. It's a good man, Prendy. Young Prendy.
There he is. Young Prendy there. There he is. Yes,
what
Conor,
more?
You're very happy anyway with Didzy. Go on about Didzy first, and then we'll go into the other intro. Go on.
Wow. I'm lost for words with this man at this stage. I do not know what to say anymore with King Didzy. 38 years of age. Bang. Hat-trick at the weekend. 3-1 win over Leyton Orient. One of the best strikers in League One at the moment. Probably the most informed player in League One at the moment. 10 goals in his last 9 games. Is absolutely ridiculous for anyone at any level. Never mind someone who's at 38 years of age. The oldest Irish player to ever score a hat-trick in the top 4 divisions in England, which says enough already. Stepped up from League 2 last season, which is crazy. He was at Notts County last season, was absolutely brilliant. And then made the move up to League 1, where he has been brilliant for Conor Hirons, man. Although he did start the season quite slow and he took a while to get going. He wasn't starting actually that often. I think when Keeler Dunn went to Wrexham in January, it kind of put all the pressure on him again to produce the goods, and he's been unbelievable. I've seen Barnsley fans online start to say that they're worried now that Didzy's going to leave in the summer and go to the Championship, which shows how good of a player he is. At 38 years of age, he'll be a 39-year-old playing the Championship next season. And the reality is, Martin, it looks like Barnsley have been a mess defensively this season. They concede goal after goal after goal. From awful defence. I know they brought in Owen O'Connell, who was at Wrexham, the Irish defender, and we all hope that he might improve things a bit, but he hasn't really. Although it's not his fault, but he's just gone into a really poor defence. And Barnsley now sit just 8 points off 6th to Huddersfield, and you think 8 points is quite a bit at this stage of the season, but they have 4 games in hand on Huddersfield, which is crazy. And obviously you make up those points and you're ahead of them. So, I know it's hard to say to go win those 4 games in hand, but they're still in the playoff picture to some extent. They still have a chance. And when you've David McGoldrick, the best striker in the league at this stage, scoring 10 goals in 9 games, and we all know what he's like. He's not just a goal scorer, because there was years he wasn't scoring great goals, or even with Ireland, but you know what he could produce. So he can drop deep, link up play, make these passes that no one else sees, and he's a workhorse. And there's a reason why he's still going at 38 years of age. You see the celebration he always does with the flexing, and I've seen them posting the photo of the dressing room after them all celebrating, and he's still in some shape. I know he's always posting his Instagram story from him training, and he's just an animal. It's one of the most impressive things probably in Irish football at the moment is the fact he's still doing this at 38 years of age. A player that started really his career so slowly and took him so long to get going in senior football, and the way he's turned it around and become such I'd say a model of a footballer. Like, every footballer should really model themselves off the way he works on and off the pitch, the way he conducts himself. Never seems to be in trouble at all on the pitch, and scores goals for fun and scores worldly after worldly. I know the hat-trick wasn't full of worldies, but week before against Huddersfield, he scored an absolute worldly. And I think I've seen a lot of comments online saying they should be called back into the Ireland squad now that the part's unavailable. And well, as much as I love Didzy, I think his time in an Ireland shirt ended all those years ago. And although I did think it came too soon, um, and I think probably everyone else knew it came too soon, but
Mm.
in reality, is his career, maybe he may have not been able to play at this level at this age if he would have went on all those extra Ireland trips and went to all these different climates and different trips. So, in fairness to Didzy, he's one of the best out there, and hopefully, it'd be unbelievable if he got a move in the summer to the championship or somehow Barnsley turned it around.
I mean, yeah, it's just it's not a renaissance. That's probably the wrong word. But this is the sadness of football. I think he's just got to the level now. He just understands the game and he's playing at a good level, of course, where he's comfortable. But like he's trying stuff now. He's a real confident player. Like them finishes, like the last week's that incredible chip from a few weeks back was just incredible. Like it just shows you the confidence to try and do these things. And he's just like playing with so much freedom. And
Mhm.
I know some people will probably hammer us for saying it, like, but it's not the worst idea. It really isn't. Like with Evan out,
Oh,
like
wow, I
it's
didn't think
not.
you were gonna say this.
No, no, it's not the worst idea. Seriously, if we had another major injury, like God forbid, but it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. I know that's
I kind of disagree. I'm like the biggest Didzy fan in the world, but I just think his time at that level, as good. Obviously, just because he just
maybe
doesn't have
yeah,
the
but maybe,
mobility.
but like
He doesn't have
if
the pace anymore.
yeah, but just
But if he came
yeah,
on the last, if he
that's
came
what I'm
on,
saying.
if
You
there
need a
was,
goal. You got a
yeah, if
26
there
man
were,
squad. You need a goal,
yeah,
and you got a confident player, and you're thinking
yeah,
I can get Ireland to a World Cup here,
he
and
would, yeah. If
for
I,
he could
I'm
do 10
thinking,
minutes, couldn't he,
yeah,
up there? Like
yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm thinking like obviously the Hungary game. If you think of the Hungary game, he could have came on definitely the last 10, 15 minutes and produced a moment of magic like he always does. And like
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of the way. Do you remember Varga for Hungary? That was
Mm.
excellent for them in qualifying. It's kind of a similar style of player. Like, and the reality was he was playing Ferenc Forest doing brilliantly well and moved to AEK Athens in January. And I've no doubt Didzy could play for Ferenc Forest. And the reality is Didzy could still play in the championship if he wanted to. He scored 22 goals for Derby that season.
Mm.
And in fairness to him, he wanted to go back to his boyhood club, which was Notts County, and spent 2 years at Notts County, and then is back up in League One with Barnsley. So like the reality is, he should have been playing the championship the last 4 seasons, and he hasn't.
Mm.
He was playing a level below his ability, but he can still offer so much. But I think in international football, just I think it's just as much as I love him, and I obviously I always say he's the goat and he is the king, but like I just couldn't imagine it, and I've seen so many people actually saying he should be, but like he retired those years ago. Stephen Kenny, I think, tried to get him back, and there was no success there. So like maybe at this his career as a 38-year-old, and he was thought, oh well, it's a playoff. If someone rang me, maybe he'd think, oh maybe I'd change mine because he's not going through a full campaign, but as much as I love it and as much as you putting that in my head now makes me feel like, oh, King's back. But no, it's not. It's not going to happen. It won't really be a consideration, will it, Mark?
Probably won't be, but yeah. Look, we can dream,
Would you take
and
him back as? Would you take him back after? Would he be your third choice after Parrott and Ida, or even ahead of Ida, or
no, he wouldn't be
has it
above
maybe?
either. But and to be fair, Johnny Kenny did really well when he come on in Hungary. Like he could have actually got a really important goal there. It was just a
Mhm.
fantastic save, wasn't it? And it could have been his name we're talking about. Look, we speak glowingly of Sinclair Armstrong and how different he is, but you know, for someone who's international experience, like, and he has, and okay, look, it was a while ago, but he did retire too early. We've had, I'll name them, Will Keane, James Collins. We've had some shocking strikers for Ireland who've done absolutely nothing compared to Didzy. And I think Johnny Kenny might be a good player in time. Like maybe we had a play at that level. We're hoping Mason Mealy is going to offer something more as well coming forward now on the back of that. The on the back of um, the move to Tottenham. But that's very much in the future. But Didzy would be above them for me at the moment. So it's not the most ridiculous shout in the world. And, form player. And for a moment, you'd have no hesitation in him coming off the bench and holding the ball up and bringing others into play. And, even the confidence in front of goal, take a penalty,
Yeah.
and Did he miss one? Did he
Yeah.
miss in the playoff? He did, didn't he?
No,
Maybe.
shut
No,
your mouth.
No, he didn't.
Shut
He
your
didn't,
mouth.
didn't he?
Say sorry. He put in. I'm not
Apologise.
being serious here. In the last probably 5. How many years ago was that? Oh, that might have been 6 years ago. In that period, it was 2020. That was the best. That 60 minutes he played 70. I can't remember. He played against Slovakia that day. It was probably the best performance I'd seen by an Irish player since the 2020s. I think that's the best performance individual. I know Troy Parrott got the hat trick and stuff, but it wasn't like it was. He was picking up the ball in the halfway line and running past people. But obviously that performance tops that because he scored a hat trick in that sort of game. But Didzy's performance that day was, if anyone remembers, was absolutely outrageous. The things he was doing, he was picking up the ball in the halfway line and spinning people, taking them on the turn. He should have got the easiest assist ever when Conor Hourihan missed an open goal. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then he came off after 70 minutes, and we kind of went downhill from there. Lost some penalties. So do not disrespect David McGoldrick like that. And the thing is, I know you're saying it's not even a thing for me coming on holding the ball. It's a moment. It's just a moment of magic. He can just pick up the ball from 25 yards out and smack in the top corner. Obviously, we never seen it in the Ireland shirt, but he's a modern day Picasso on the football pitch.
But no, again, people think 38 is really old and stuff, but he's keeping himself in good conditions. But look, Ronaldo when has a freak 40 odds and still doing it. But you experience will get you so far as well, and he knows his body. He knows I don't need to make that run now because I'm so experienced. I don't need to do that. You don't have to bumping around, tearing around like someone else perhaps might be doing. So yeah, it's an interesting question. But let us know. Do you think Didzy should be back in the Ireland squad? But yeah, before we go on, obviously the exciting news for the pod is that we're obviously doing that. It's throwing that up again.
I just wanted to see him again. He's just the goat, isn't he? I just want to see him again.
Right, we do have some very exciting news to share with the Raw faithful, and this is our fantastic new partner, Traveligo. You'll see it there in the bottom right-hand corner. But what they do, they're a travel agency company. They don't just book holidays. They know football is your thing, and you're in the right place with Traveligo. They create official matchday travel packages to some of the biggest fixtures across the Premier League and European competitions, including unforgettable nights in the UEFA Champions League and beyond. So do make sure you check them out. The link to them, how you can contact them to make all your inquiries. If you've been going on about what game you want to go and see with your mates. I know we're all off to Prague. Well, hopefully all of us are off to Prague in just under a few weeks now. But, for Champions League, Europa League, all those other matches, the Premier League, of course, as well. You can get match tickets as part of your travel, top-class hotels, and also VIP tickets available as well, part of brilliant packages that Traveligo offer. So really great to have them on board with us, a company that we know align with us, and we are looking forward to working with them going forward. So make sure you do check them out and give them a follow on Instagram. Some fantastic content there, but they do darts, trips and everything. So Cheltenham races is just under a few weeks away. Sorry, go on.
Where's their link?
In the show notes.
I'm waiting for you to say the description's in the link.
Description. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the link is in the
welcome aboard, Traveligo. Looking forward to that. And we had a good chat with them last week, Gillian. Absolutely brilliant to have you on board and chatting about Cheltenham. And if anyone
qualify for the World Cup,
Cheltenham, let us know. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. And when we qualify for the World Cup, for
the World Cup, there will be trips available, obviously, to America and Mexico. More importantly, where we're going
to be and America, and Canada with Montreal.
Where's the final? We can get tickets to the final, of course.
I actually don't know where the final is. Someone could tell me where the final is. It's probably in New York or LA. It has to be in one of the major cities of America. Maybe if there's no World War III going on, but it's a story for another day. But I don't think we'll be at will. I don't think they'll bother trying to shoot rockets that far across the world. But anyway, that's the story. That's the story for another day.
Yep. Right. Right. We're going to also have a chat, of course, about the news that broke. I think it was today, wasn't it? And this is that Mikey Johnston, sadly.
Hold on, Martin.
Sorry, go on. What?
Just wanted to show you Didzy again.
Right. We're moving on. No more Didzy. Right. Yeah. Sad news, obviously, for Ireland. Obviously playing in only a few weeks away now. We'll be in Prague on the 26th of March. When Ireland obviously take on Czechia. Looking forward to it, of course. We're all going to be there as well. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel, get notifications, of course, of all our live shows in the lead to that, and all the content we're getting out there, because we will obviously be doing our usual format of squad announcement show. I think that's the 19th of March. and then we'll obviously be leading up to it. We're going to do our prediction show. Connor's actually going to give his predicted squad this evening for you all. We're very, very lucky Raw faithful out there to listen to that. But news today broke that we are going to be missing another player. This injury curse, hopefully it's going to just stop now. And it's at Mikey Johnston. Here he is. I think that's the picture there from when he scored against Gibraltar in June 2023, which took place in just Faro, didn't it? Just outside of just in Portugal, that game. He's out of the squad. He's injured.
I don't think that is a photo because I see Michael Obafemi in the background. I don't think he played that day. I think that's the day from Dublin.
June 20. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, green shirt at home. Oh, yeah, we wore white away.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the summer that we did. Yeah. It was a late summer, wasn't it? When we went there.
Yeah.
But he did score there against them away.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Did he?
I think he got the first goal, didn't he? I think. Anyway, he's out. Connor, talk to me. What's going on? Do we know how long he's out for? Or is he out just for the window?
Oh yeah, reality is we don't know how serious the injury, if the extent of it is yet. He done his ankle on Saturday after 25 minutes against Oxford United. Another loss for West Brom, who are in the gutter at the moment. Look like they could be on a collision course to League One. But yeah, done his ankle. The manager spoke kind of quite wearingly of it after, not a good sign of it. And then he was seen leaving the Castam Stadium on crutches, which is a complete disaster. Well, I know a lad in crutches after a game can happen to some lads and they're fine, but it just doesn't scream I'll be ready for March, particularly when it's 3 weeks away. And I know he hasn't really probably got the game time he's really deserved for Ireland in the sense of starting big games when he's really needed, but he just offers something so different to our other wingers, because a lot of our wingers are kind of that head down, knock it past the man and then whip a ball in, whilst Johnston's more of he'll take you on the inside. He can go on the outside as well, obviously, but he'll do you with a dummy, a step over, he'll throw a feint, which we really lack in some of that, particularly against a team maybe that might sit back for 90 minutes. And obviously that's not going to happen for us unless Czech Republic go 1-0 up. And for the last maybe 20 minutes or 2-0 up, we're kind of just going at them. Or say we get North Macedonia in the final, where although they're not going to come back and just sit back like a Gibraltar would, they still would come to Dublin quite cautiously, and that's kind of a sort of game you'd kind of think, oh, that's a Mikey Johnston sort of game. So yeah, obviously on the face of it, you're thinking, oh, maybe he's not that big of a loss, but I think it's one of those players. I think for Ireland, they're kind of a horses for courses, and I think if in a certain situation could happen in these playoffs, or if someone like him could be vital. And I know it's 24 days until we play in Prague, and there's nothing been confirmed in terms of how bad his ankle is, but it seemed by all accounts it was quite a bad twist or whatever way he went over on it, and he obviously had to leave the stadium on crutches, and it's just another player to add to our injury list at the moment. Himself, Evan Ferguson, Boston Lowell, who we hope will be back. Ferguson, no chance he comes back. The likes of Ogbene, Festi not playing. It's not looking good for many players at all, really. Martin, I know Robbie Brady, it was a positive that Robbie Brady came back and played half an hour at the weekend for Preston. Gavin Bazunu, who's injured as well. We don't know if he'll be back, I know he's won the timeline kind of add up. He'll be back maybe in the next, what would you say, 10 to 14 days. Mark Travers was back on the bench, but he's probably still running laps in Finland. So we're not in a great spot injury wise. Players playing regularly at all. So I don't know, Martin. I know we spoke about this with certain players we're not worried about. Like Ogbene played for Sheffield United 21s today, scored a header, but like really that's not the level. It's not even Premier League 2. Like they're not even playing against the best academies in England. They played Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday. It obviously was a Sheffield derby at academy level, but like for the level Chio needs to be at, and I know it's better than not probably playing at all and getting 90 minutes a leg ahead of the playoffs, but like we were hoping with Calvin Phillips dropping out of the team because of being suspended that means Ogbene will come back in under the loan rule, but obviously the 5 loan rule did not apply to Chio, and it was just more that he thought Andre Brooks and Tahith Chong were better players or better options. So although at the start of the season when Chio first came in, he was the number one option for them. So especially now in the wings, Martin, I know we'll go into talking about Szmodics because he has played there before in the past, but we were quite light now on kind of left-hand side, right-hand side. It was always obviously Festi, Gio on the right. On the left, it was more Mikey Johnston. Azaz kind of plays as that left 10/left winger. And also Szmodics has played there on the left. But then I've spoken in the past about Millie Ali, played another 90 minutes the weekend, could somehow find his way in the picture, but I don't think he's going to break if someone and he's not been there before. So yeah, Martin, I don't know what you think of the loss of Mikey Johnston.
I do like him. I see him as a kind of impact player, though. He has kind of flattered to deceive. He has moments in games. He's not just consistent. He's not like, look, no one's going to be like Damien Duff, like who just gets the ball and just takes you on. It's relentless. He's just a level, like he's quite consistent in what he does, but nothing ever really that spectacular. He's had moments. Just going to put up a comment here, Michael Mahoney, because we were talking about that. The photo we put up, actually, here we go. That's him. Said that was a game in June against Gibraltar. He did score in that game, but he did also score in the away game as well. Ferguson got the first goal away, and then Michael Johnson got the second on the 28th minute. But I think he is a good player. It's a shame that he's out because I think he's very much impact, and you can put him at either side, and he can create, and he's got brilliant pace and things. So, but he's one that I think we really do need to, we need to see a lot more from him. And then, like you said there, it will give opportunities. Chio's a worry. I mean, we're going to do Obig very, very soon, of course, as well. We catch up with how the lads got on over the weekend. But, I would imagine Chio's view on that would have been he's pushing Sheffield United to say, I'm not in the match day squad. I need to have I need to get minutes in my legs before and fair play to him for doing that. And even Sheffield United, you could say, letting him,
I think Chris Wilder, Chris Wilder said that was part of the reason on to keep him because Ogbene was so keen to stay and play, and he was like, I'll play with the 21s to build my fitness up and give me a chance then. But the problem is the last time he did play came on, he scored against Oxford, and then came off the bench and scored and hasn't even been on the bench since. That's how bad it's been. Or he actually was on the bench the next game, and then the last 3 games he's not. But do you think with Johnston, do you think he's been quite lucky because he kind of gets like a raw deal from fans, even though he's not played overly amazing for Ireland, but he never really got a chance to kind of start and establish himself in the team. The only times I can really remember of him starting in any games of any importance was the 2 Bulgaria ties last year in the playoffs, where we played Manning on the left and we played Johnston on the right, which I think takes away from a lot of his best traits, even though he's a brilliant crosser ball. And you see with his stats, he's 9 assists in the championship this season, where a team that's in a relegation battle is very impressive. But I think when you play him on the left, and he hasn't really had that opportunity on the left to do it, and like the more I think of it now, is the more I can just worry that I think Ryan Manning could end up starting left wing against Czechia away, as a kind of what we've done in the past. And Azaz,
I think that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think I wouldn't have been surprised that happened. I mean, just one thing on it, I think where he perhaps the perception of Mikey Johnston is, I think he was a little bit damaged by the experience with Celtic because inconsistent there. They didn't seem to have a problem with him going off, and he went off to Vitória Guimarães, didn't he, in Portugal?
Yeah.
And bit of a mixed bag there. We were delighted when he got loan moved back to West Brom. That's become permanent. Looking at the records and stats there, 74 games for West Brom. Well, if you add, it's almost 100 if you add like the loan move, and he scored 13 goals. So it's not the worst record for a winger. But what I think, where I think a lot of Irish fans will struggle with our wingers, when you compare Chio playing for Ireland and his goal record, is very, very good. Important goals, contribution stuff. Johnston hasn't really had that with Ireland, and it's easy to, you can change a winger, can't you? You need to freshen it up. Yeah. You've got a winger that you bring on and stuff, and I think he's more of an out and out winger, and I don't think we really play to his strengths a lot with that. Whereas you can put Finazaz out there. Sammy Szmodics has gone out there as well, of course. the way we play with that kind of one and then the two kind of supporting, like Chio on the right, of course, I think it doesn't really benefit him when he's played it, Johnston, in that role. So
He
just I
needs
don't
the
think
ball,
he's
doesn't
just,
he?
yeah, he
He
needs the
needs the
ball. He
ball
needs
in
to be
higher up the
tricky. I
pitch, and
think
you just don't get
that's
that
what
for Ireland.
that's what I would like him to do, though. Like, get him on the ball, taking people on, getting dragged down, getting free kicks and things. That's where I think it's a sad state of affairs for him that he doesn't have much of an impact. But he is a loss because he's tricky and he's
Yeah.
different from a Manning playing there. You know that Manning's just going to put the ball in,
Yeah.
probably not going to beat his
So
man
big.
brilliantly, but the quality of the set pieces will be good, of course. So it's a bit
Yeah.
more
It's a
structured
bit
and
like,
laboured.
yeah. You know, I was on about. Obviously spoke about Millie Ali, how well he's doing. I said, I think Hamer would much rather a winger like Millie Ali in his team than Mikey Johnston because he has that pace, power, that
Yeah,
athleticism that'll get him up and down for 90 minutes. And no matter where we are on the pitch, you can kind of almost rely on him to kind of knock it past someone and get us up the pitch and win a free kick. And the problem with Johnson at times is because he's not lightning quick, it can kind of always be if he's on the halfway line, he mightn't bother or try take a man on because he knows that he'll get past him maybe, but the boy will get back around and cover him, and then he has to turn back, and it's a turn and back thing, which is quite difficult thing because you can understand why. And it's like if we were dominating games, Johnson's probably our perfect style of winger because he can create something out of nothing. We see it with West Brom when they're doing really well, but like it's been a difficult couple of months for him anyway when Eric Ramsey came in and started playing at wing back. So, but it'll be interesting now what way the wing. We'll go to it when we start talking about the squad because I'm kind of I'm in two minds about what way he will go with this.
Yeah. But before we get on to Obig and then obviously chatting about Connor's predicted squad for the March games, of course, this is a player who has come back into the reckoning. And I think that's a little bit of an unfair assessment. So Sammy Szmodics, I'm not going to defend him massively on this, but it's going to sound like I'm going to be balanced here, I think, because I think he's got a lot of undue abuse, I think, from Ireland fans. I know, like based on rumours and speculation that he's withdrawn from squads and things like that. We've had really animated conversations about Sammy Szmodics and how he's been for Ireland, and it has been a source of great frustration for Irish fans seeing that he's like pulled out squads and then loads and loads of rumours. But with Johnston out, I wouldn't be against him coming back in at all.
Do you want to read the article just so if people haven't seen? I know it's been big news in Irish football spaces, but just for anyone that hasn't worked,
throwing that at me because now I've got to find it. Thanks.
I touched on it, but just for anyone that was wondering, basically, just from I think it's kind of came out of all media sources in Ireland today that him or Halgrimsson met Mr. Szmodics today in Derby to have a chat about coming back into this. No, but I kind of know it off my head.
Okay.
But yeah, just in case I made any mistakes. But yeah, he met Szmodics today in Derby to have a chat about coming back into the fold, not just because of the maybe Johnson injury, Fessy or Bennett not playing on the wings, where he's kind of played a lot for Ireland. He hasn't really played as a 10, also as a number 9 option, as backup to Troy Powert. As we've seen him play as a number 9 for Ireland. Was it Greece at home he played as number 9? I thought it was very unfair on him that day. I think he was kind of very isolated. I don't think he's number 9, to be honest. He can't play up front on his own. But yeah, it looks like he will come back in. Hamer wants to bring him back in. Maybe he doesn't want to come back in. I know he got a lot of stick that last time out, and I know it's obviously he's had some family issues in the past, and I don't know if any of them are still affecting him that he can't come in March. And yeah, we'll know. And obviously there was room. Obviously the reason he left Ipswich was said by Kieran McKenna wasn't footballing reasons. It was he didn't run him around the place. He didn't say whether it was attitude or something had happened, but obviously there was a lot of rumours going around that something happened on a trip. But it seems that Hamer and the Irish staff have tried to they followed up on it to see what the issue was, and they don't see any problems with it. So I think the rumours of I know a lot of rumours are going around that he racially abused Casey McAteer, and I know for a fact if he actually did, we would have seen the Ireland probably wouldn't consider him for the squad because Casey McAteer is obviously in the picture as well. So I don't think that could be true at all. So I think we
I think just that's allegations. Like we've seen that speculation of this, and I think it just didn't word well the way McKenna said it, didn't he? It's not footballing reasons, and so that would kind of allude to how he was around the place. Okay,
Yeah.
not obviously serious, obviously racial abuse or anything like that. Like, 'cause I don't believe that would have happened. But
Yeah.
um, just how he was around the place. Is he a good pro? Is he this? Like, we don't know,
Yeah.
but he just obviously didn't fit into what Ipswich were trying to do.
Yeah, maybe
So
he's the type
it,
that
it
maybe he was the type that if he wasn't playing, he was sulking and stuff like that. Which
yeah,
I know you don't want players, but sometimes that's what a lot of players are like because they just
yeah,
want
they
to be
are.
playing
Yeah.
football regularly. So yeah, I think
Mm.
that sort of stuff because I know rumors going around that. But yeah, um, anyway, yeah, I think yeah, but I just as an option, obviously to come back into Ireland, I think we kind of see him as a left hand side option, more than a number 10 or a striker in my eyes. Although I do think he could come in as a kind of a backup, a number as a striker. But when the way we look at it is Finazaz is kind of our main left 10, where he goes into a 4-4-2 without the ball. And Szmodics has played there in the past. You remember Finland away? He
Yeah.
played um, Szmodics kind of off the left. I thought he was okay that day. I thought he was grand, but I think he did as much as he possibly could. He's a bit like Johnston playing him on the halfway line, he's not going to offer you anything. I know he can make some smart runs in behind and does that very well, but that's kind of more as a late runner, as a number 10, where he can kind of spin off the other striker and off the defenders and create some space. But I think on the left hand side, he really struggles to do so because it's not his best position. He played there a lot last season, if you remember,
Mm.
with Ipswich in the Premier League, but a lot off the left, and I think it eliminated a lot of his strengths. This season has not really went well at all. Injured a lot. Took him ages to get his first goal. Obviously, I know he scored for Derby last week, which is a good sign, a positive step forward. Under his old manager John Eustace. People are saying about how well he done it before, but I think he'd already scored like 17 goals before John Eustace came in that season. Because was it Jon Dahl Tomasson, the ex-Sweden head coach, left to go to Sweden halfway through the season, and then Eustace came in. But in fairness, Szmodics, he was brilliant under Eustace. I think he will do very well between now and the end of the season with Derby, but he's doing it as a number 10. That's not where he's going to play for Ireland. We all know Finazaz is our main man in that position, just because he's more of a creative player than Szmodics is. Szmodics more of a get into the box and get onto the edge of crosses, whilst Finazaz
Yeah.
is the more likely to create something for someone else, as we've seen for the second goal in Hungary. So yeah, it's an interesting one because personally, I just don't see where Szmodics kind of fits in terms of system wise the Ireland team, not based
But
on
does he not
ability,
fit
not
in?
yeah.
Does he not just fit in as if anything happens to Finn Azaz, he comes into that role? Is that not it? Like as part of the squad kind of thing. And I think this is really interesting in the Smolik situation because there's lots of speculation about it again pulling out squads or different things going on, or he doesn't fancy playing for Ireland now, and all that kind of just speculation, right? But it'll be interesting if he gets selected, whether he joins up or pulls out the squad. I think that's going to be a big test for Hamer, and
Mhm.
that's maybe why he's done the right thing, having a chat and just going, look, are you in
Yeah.
here? Are you involved in this? Because this is where again, lots of rumors in the past where that Steve he didn't never used to kind of turn up, but Stephen Kenny pulled him in or pulled out squads because he
Can I
felt he
ask you a
needed to
question,
play and
Martin?
stuff. Yeah,
Is it a worry that he's going to the training ground to speak to him rather than just calling him over the phone? Like, if what's I know it's always good to go chat to lads in person and get, but
yeah.
is there a worry that because he's had to go to the training ground and speak more? I know he could be just fact he just wanted to meet up and have a chat with him and see,
Mm.
but like the fact he's going to the training ground, is that a thing that Szmodics in their communication prior has kind of been a bit iffy about it and hasn't really said he wants to commit at the moment to Ireland, and it's more the type that kind of Szmodics he wants to go and convince Szmodics to come in March. Is
It's
that
not convincing. If it was, you don't need to convince someone now to try to be part of a squad trying to get to the World Cup. Massive opportunity. I think it's
but
to look him in the
but do you
eyes
think it
would
is
be.
because if I say I was Szmodics and I was him and Han about coming in, and obviously I would never be in my thought, but it's a thing
Yeah,
of like he's like I've got abuse from Irish fans. I've whatever way, obviously family issues or family wants to be with his family all the time and whatever comes first, obviously. But and he's thinking, well, if I'm looking at this Ireland team right now, I don't fit in anywhere. I'm not going to play. So if he thinks, well, I'm going to go away for it could be great, qualify for World Cup, but I could go away here for 10 to 12 days for my family and not play a single minute. And as great as it is, you still don't feel as part of it if you're not playing as if you do. So maybe it's that sort of thing. But I know it's I think it's great for a manager to go speak to a lot of training ground, but there's
Mm.
also that slight worry, maybe because of Szmodics and he has pulled out of Ireland squads in the past, and maybe it's just that little thing. But it's just the thing is like, is he trying to convince them to come in? And
He
if
can't be
that's
trying to
the
convince him. I think he's just looking him in the eye and going, "Do you want to be part of this or not? This is where you will feature. This is what we see you bringing to us. You don't need to be convinced. I'm going to call you up, but if you then pull out, that's it. Yeah, that's it with you. That's what I'd be saying to him. And
Mm,
you might not. I'm not promising you any minutes. And if
yeah.
you don't get a minute, you're not for me. Like if he's kicking off around the, just I think it's probably just to get the measure of him really. If he
Mm,
hasn't been as engaging and open perhaps with Ireland in the past. He probably just wants to see that face to face. I think it's a fantastic bit of man management in a way that he goes there. It's not convincing anybody now. If it ever had to come out, if it came out that he's had a chat with him, trying to convince Sammy Szmodics to play for in a World Cup playoff, and that came out and go, oh well, actually, Sammy just said it wasn't right for him and stuff. Oh, like, he'd get more abuse than he'd ever like. You know, we're then he's finished with us. That's it. You don't have to convince someone to play
mhm,
in a World Cup for Ireland or World Cup playoff. So I wouldn't be having that. I think it's just him wanting to see the measure of him direct rather than have that phone call and where, well, I've got a bit of a niggle and stuff and this. Find out a little bit more what's going on in the club. Find out as well if there is an issue for, we've said about this speculation, but maybe that's man management. If there was an issue between two or three players that we don't know, how is that? I'm going to call you up, but I don't want this impacting. What do we need to do to sort that out if there
mhm,
was? So obviously we're just open to a lot of speculation here as well. We don't know for certain, but I think that it's good man management for Heimer, and I think if he was to get, I think they've probably just got to. I could see him doing a similar thing with Matt Doherty. Would be another player. These kind of players who perhaps think they're better than they are, or just to suss out what their reaction is going to be if they're called up. I think we're just in that
mhm.
position. But Sammy
It's good to
Szmodics
go into the squad now
isn't
because obviously,
isn't the isn't like the massive answer. Like we were so happy that he selected Ireland and was available, and we were looking at the player in the championship who's actually tearing it up. He's not that player anymore. He's got to get back to that form. Um, but and he did have them terrible injuries as well. But you know, part of me, if I was Sammy Szmodics, I could be going to a World Cup here. I've got an opportunity now. Mikey Johnston's out. I could get game time here. I could come on and make a difference, and I could be an Irish hero. Basically, that's what I'd be looking at. If he
mhm.
really wants to be part of it, that's what he'd be doing. Do you want to look at your squad, or do you want to go into Obig?
I think we go into the squad because I think it blends in
Okay.
naturally to it. To be honest with
All
you,
right. Okay. Right. Here we go. This is Connor has
predicted.
bravely
This is not the
predicted.
predicted.
He's predicted. No, this is a predicted squad from Rep Tracker himself. And here it goes. Here we are. So, Connor, do you want to have a chat through with that?
Yeah, because obviously I didn't have Szmodics in it, because that was before the rumors that Shaq came out. Because I was thinking maybe he just doesn't want to be in the picture. But yeah, obviously I went to three obvious goalkeepers: Gallagher, Bazunu, Travers. Obviously, personally, I would have Josh Keeley in there. I spoke about before because I don't think picking a player that hasn't played a game, played twice all season, I don't think it's right. But I think just for the squad consistency and stuff, I don't think they'll change the keepers. And I think Travers is a really good backup, unless Bazunu's out injured. Then the defenders are gone. Um, Coleman, Collins, O'Shea, O'Brien, Dunn, Scales,
Can I
Egan,
just
Manning.
before you go on to the
Yeah, go on.
keeper? Sorry, sorry to interrupt you. Um, do you not think they should bring four keepers for training,
Mm,
considering
no,
Azuna's injuries and Travers is where he is? I would bring four, but anyway, and they
yeah,
often
but
have done that in the
yeah,
past, haven't they,
yeah.
for training and
Maybe,
stuff?
O'Leary would be next up. I would have Josh Keeley
Or
even,
maybe yeah,
but yeah, or maybe
defenders then.
O'Leary will
Sorry.
be picked over Bazunu if Bazunu doesn't
Mm,
start. If he comes back in and isn't playing a minute for Southampton to keep Simkin in there, but yeah, in terms of defenders, it's Collins, Coleman, O'Shea, O'Brien, Dunn, Scales, Egan, Manning, Brady. Um, it's the exact same defense, Martin, as what we had in the November window, just swapping out Robbie Brady for Kevin O'Toole. Um, I just
yeah,
don't see any of them centre halves changing. I don't see anyone else defender being brought in. I think Matt Doherty's the only one possibly. Maybe Callum O'Dowd, but he didn't play at the weekend and didn't play midweek. He was suspended and didn't even get a minute at the weekend. So um, obviously, Bamadelli is another option centre half of lads that have been. I think he's the only really centre half that's played for us before under Hamer, and obviously been played a lot for Ireland, despite being quite young, is that could come in. But I think it would rely on another injury. I know Liam Scales can't play the first game. I had a few comments from people saying Scales suspended. He's suspended for the first game, but he can play the second game, which will happen. So it will be at minimum a 25-man squad, even though I've named the 26, because that's just what the World Cup was being. I think you might as well pick 26 if the World Cup's going to be 26. Prepare in that mind frame. But yeah, I think there's not. I don't know, Martin, what do you think defenders wise? I just think the defenders. I think Matt Doherty could come in, obviously. I think maybe between himself and Jimmy Dunn, but I think Jimmy Dunn offers more versatility in terms of he can play right back and centre half. I know Doherty can play left or right, but he plays left. The last time he played left for Ireland, he really struggled. Whilst obviously Jimmy Dunn has played. She was a good article by Mark McCadden released yesterday. He's the only Irish player since November to play every single minute of every single game at club level. Obviously, captain QPR. I don't think he would be the type of player that um would throw up any fuss or would point fingers if he's not starting, not playing. I think he's just a good he's a good
He was
person to
very
have
good
around
around
the
the
campaign
squad.
line. Yeah, yeah. And even though if I think that can sound bad in a player, but when you have lads playing in the Premier League in your position, it's always gonna be very hard to break in. And I know if he had to play, he'd do a very good job because he's been excellent for QPR. So I think he'd be like did I say John Egan won't drop out? So yeah, and I think just Manning and Brady would be the two left fullbacks. Like I don't know. Is there anything on the defenders there, Martin? You disagree with, or you want to add, or whatever?
No, I think this will be telling as well, though. I think I would certainly have Jimmy Dunn in there, and I think it will just for the around the squad. I think he's a real good pro.
Mhm. But
And
this is
John
predicted, by
Egan
the way.
coming
So
in
this
there
is
as well.
yeah. So this is my predict. This isn't what I pick.
Yeah,
So do you predict that to be the same as what I've gone with, or do you predict something
I
else?
would do. I just think Omar Bamadelli could be one that comes in. But like he has. I think Scales has probably done enough um, to warrant being picked, and like has played quite well for Ireland actually. Um, but the Celtic form's a bit hit and miss, isn't it, with him? But I think it
Just
would be
don't get
between
he's not.
him actually. It would be between him and Omar Abadeli for me. And I think the fact that he's suspended the first game, I think he still will go, and Omar Abadeli will be on the standby list. Is my
There's
gut
no
feeling
way
on that.
Liam Scales gets dropped, Martin. What are you
No,
smoking?
no, I know, no. I'm just saying, no, but I'm just saying, just because of the fact that the game, the being out for the first game, that was all.
Yeah,
But he's still getting
dra-
picked. I know he's picking 26
he was
anyway. Yeah,
brilliant against Portugal at wing back the first game, even
yeah,
though
he was.
I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
he's good. And then when you think of it, the second game, he got the assist for the winner.
yeah, he
So
did. Yeah.
there's not yeah. So it's not even. It's to be honest, it's just the extra player to be brought in. Because the extra two players, and even though I haven't brought in the extra player in the center defense, I think it's like an extra player in terms of versatility.
Mm.
But yeah, that's kind of what I predicted. The
I don't think Doherty
players will
won't
be.
be near it. I don't think he can't be.
I just don't. He hasn't played for Wolves and he hasn't been good for Ireland the last time he played.
No.
I just don't see him. I think he'll just be on standby, to be honest with you.
It
And
will be
obviously
interesting
Hamer's,
how he's
yeah,
handles that and how he communicates that and what the response from
yeah.
not being selected will be from Matt Doherty. If
Mhm.
he kind of tries to make it about him like other players have done in the past and they've not been selected and then they've announced their retirement.
Thing is, the last time he
Um,
didn't get selected, he didn't make a meal of it, didn't make it, and then he done an interview, which I remember him saying he doesn't like doing interviews, and it was just that I think it was David Schneider, and he's like he just heard his voice and heard it was an Irish accent, so that's why he spoke to him,
mm,
so which is fair enough.
yeah.
Sport local, as to say. So, but anyway,
Mhm.
midfielders wise, I've gone with Jason Knight, Jason Malumbi, Finn Azaz, Connor Coventry, Jack Taylor, Mark Sykes, Alan Brown, and Boston Lawal. There is obviously one player in there who's currently injured, and I'm banking on the fact he will be back because I have it in very good accord that he'll be back from when he got injured would be 4 weeks, not 6 weeks. So should be back for these 2 games before the window, you'd hope. And just the way Hamer spoke about it, the way maybe because I speak Swahili, I just think he's just too good not to be picked. I know he said he just wanted it's not the time to try out new players and stuff, but the reality is he would have been in the squads and has been in squads when fit. It's just he's not been every time he seems to get injured is just around the Ireland squad in November, obviously, and in October and November, wasn't it, that he missed
Mm.
both them? But I just think he will be picked, and particularly for versatility, because even if you know Skills is out and you're not really replacing him like for like, but Boston Wild can play centre half, Boston Wild can play right back, right, he can play left back, he can play right wing back, left wing back, and I think obviously with the lack of Josh Cullen, we need someone to go in there and make up for him. Obviously, Knight comes straight back in after being out. Malumbi keeps his place. Obviously, Finnezaz does. Jack Taylor is doing quite well at Ipswich at the moment. He will as well. Alan Brown, I think how well he's done lately at Middlesbrough, has earned a place in the squad, and he's versatile. Although he hasn't started the last 3 games, I believe. And the game before he got taken off quite early against Coventry, played 15 minutes tonight. So he's come out of the Middlesbrough team again. I don't know if he'll get back in, to be honest, as a regular start. Might start maybe 1 or 2 games because they're playing twice a week. But I don't think he's going to establish himself as a main man in that Middlesbrough team again. So I would worry that his place maybe in the All Star could come. But I think if the squad is, I'm kind of predicting that he will play, and he will be picked. I know Hamer has been quite high on how well he's done, and Connor Coventry's not really played enough or at all really for Charlton lately. He started the weekend, but that was only because it was against Wrexham and Connor Cody couldn't play against his parent club. Um, it'd be good to have Knight back in because I've watched him in recent weeks and he has been quite good for Bristol City again. Mark Sykes is one that I have himself and Casey McAteer down, but since obviously the story of Szmodics coming back in, I would one of those two I believe would drop out for Sammy Szmodics. Just in terms of versatility, and because I think it's Sykes' versatility, I think will get him in the squad because he can play right wing back, left wing back, right wing, left wing. But I just think I think he'd probably be the more likely one because when you look at Festi, he can't play the first game. And then Casey McAteer is more like for that to come in as a backup to Ogbene on the right hand side. So I would remove Sammy Szmodics. I probably should have made a new graphic, but it wasn't ours. To add Szmodics in for Sykes. So I'd probably have Szmodics in there. But yeah, I think that's going midfielders. I know Boston Wild can be controversial. I am kind of thinking to myself at times, do I think he will actually pick him? Or do I think he won't just go off the excuse of not playing enough minutes before the thing? But then I just know how highly he's thought of and how well Paddy McCarthy and John O'Shea absolutely love him.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'll start, but I think that they'd be very tempted to bring him on off the bench when in the first game, or especially if we're losing as such that we're chasing the game because it's a risk we're taking rather than um holding back. And he has spoke about winning duels and winning tackles, and I think he's the sort of player that will do that for us. So I don't know what's your opinion on the midfielders. Obviously, remove Mark Sykes, I would say probably for Sammy Szmodics.
Yeah, I think Sammy Szmodics obviously comes into it. I think he would. I mean, we know this is a problem place for us, but I'm even thinking, Robbie Brady back could be a key. Like even he can come in there, can't he, and play the left side if he had to, higher up rather than just playing left back in a sense. So, it doesn't look great on paper there, does it? When you read it and you see God, and obviously Josh Cullen being out, and I'm just thinking of players who've been in the past and are missing, like Will Smallbone, of course, has flattered to Seawood Island. O'Dowda as well, not in there.
Well, who would you have in
Johnston.
there?
No, I know exactly.
Yeah,
Like it's just a problem. I mean,
yeah,
Boston, I think, has to be in there, but yeah,
yeah.
it's just
Maybe if
it's just
it becomes 5 weeks, if it becomes 5 weeks and not 4 weeks, and he like say he comes back for the midweek game before it,
yeah.
maybe. But yeah, obviously I've called up
You
26 and
know, I think where he
25.
might look at
Yeah,
that though is Boston off the bench. Obviously, if you need to
yeah, I
shore it
think
up a
so.
lot of energy, no fear for me that may happen. That is his debut in such a high profile game because Omer Bamadelli came on against Portugal and nearly scored in the game where Ronaldo scored in the last minute against us. So, um,
Mhm.
you know, players they're professional footballers. They know what they're coming into,
Mhm.
and they can
People
get to
act
that
like it's
level.
a problem, isn't it? People act like, oh, because he's not
Yeah.
experienced,
Oh, he's
he
gonna
doesn't know how to
play.
play
Oh,
football.
rubbish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, and the reality is, the way I look at it, put it bluntly, look at every single player in that midfield list, I'd say, and obviously Finnezaz number 10, so I'd rule him away from
Mm,
that. Boston Wall is better than all of them, simple as, and that's the reality is in my eyes. He's just better at football than the rest of them, and he's significantly enough better in my eyes that he has to be in the squad. I know we can say, "Oh, maybe not start," but significantly, he's a lot better than all them in terms of ability, his size, his strength, what he could offer us. And I know he's inexperienced, and I know he's not going to start. And I'm not saying he should start, but I think just for ability wise, he has to be in the squad. And
yeah.
the only people that seem to disagree with me are Celtic fans that haven't watched him since he played pre-season with Celtic. But Like that's obviously the midfield. Obviously, it is a worry because no Josh
Yeah.
Cullen, but like it's not like we were unbelievable with Josh Cullen team, but he just is something different that we don't have. And God love Glenn Whelan come back out of retirement for us now. James McCarthy modelling the Everton shirts these days, the Paddy's Day shirts, so he could maybe come out for us.
Jesus.
But yeah, I just don't know. It's just hard, Martin, in midfield. It's like Connor Coventry could easily drop out because he's just not starting.
Yeah.
And like it's
I
not
I
like
I could
Wrexham.
actually see him. I could see him being the last choice there,
Mhm.
against Sykes. I think Sykes would be above
But
him
that's
for me.
26 men. So I think the problem is I think if it's 25, I think it's one of those midfielders drops out.
Yeah.
And I do but thing is Conor Coventry came on. He trusted Conor Coventry to come on against Portugal at home and done all right when he came on. But I just think if you're not starting over Connor Cody in middle of park, like it's not a good sign at all. And like Connor Cody's come back in the team. But yeah, anyway, we'll go on to the forwards. But anyway, predicted wise, Martin, is that what you predict? I just
Yeah,
remove Sykes for Szmodics.
yeah,
Do
it
you
is,
agree, or
yeah.
anything else you think will be in there?
No, I think there's not
Yeah,
many more available.
yeah. Andy Moore's still been treated like
Yeah.
shit. But anyway, move on to that. Forward wise, obviously Troy Power, Johnny Kenny, Adamida, Casey McAteer, Chidozie Ogbene, Fessi Ebiselli. Obviously everyone knows the Sinclair Armstrong fan club over here doesn't predict he will be in the squad, to be honest, because I think he'll just go with his tried and trusted. Even though he called up Sinclair last March, he didn't play him that. And even though I think he was expected that he was going to play him in that away game against Bulgaria off the bench, but didn't bring him on that day. I just think he'll stay with his tried and trusted. Obviously, there's always the argument now. I know we'll get to Johnny Kenny now, big of well, he's only playing in League One and Sinclair's playing in the Championship. They shouldn't automatically be in, but I think he's just going to go with tried and trusted, and like he trusts Johnny Kenny, what he can do for Ireland, and he likes him. And the reality is, like, if he was coming off the bench for Celtic, people would still be saying he should be in the squad. While it's like, is he suddenly a worse player? Is he suddenly becoming a million times worse player because he's playing in League One, which is the issue people sometimes throw against these players. So I just think he will stick with those three. I think unless I think it would take Sinclair. If Sinclair went and scored, I know they're playing tomorrow in the FA Cup, which could be huge. If they play Port Vale away, and it's the first game was postponed. So if he can get a goal in that, I think it could set him on a really good stead for the rest of the month. And I do think he can. Like, I do think Sinclair can work his way into the squad. Definitely can. And obviously, Ida might only get one game before it. And I think it's more the other three that are more the question marks. Martin, McAteer, Ogbene, Festi. McAteer, I wouldn't predict it if Festi and Ogbene were playing regularly and Festi wasn't suspended for the first game. Because he's suspended, I think McAteer is just the obvious there. Or obviously Mark Sykes. So that's why I think it'll just be one of them two will come in. Obviously Mark Sykes is probably starting more games, but I think McAteer probably suits him or style better and kind of likes him more, even though both have played under him. And I think Ogbene is just going to be picked because he's Ogbene. Like, I think he just has to be picked and has to play. And I think we trust them all to come in. But yeah, that's kind of my predicted. That's a predicted 26. If I had to take one out, like, because the thing is, that's my predicted 25, and then I have Szmodics over Sykes, so that's 26. So I don't think like I'd be worried he would take Boston Wall if it was 25 out of that, but I think it would be completely wrong decision. But I'd probably go more with Connor Coventry at this stage, even though he's probably the only one of us a natural like defensive midfielder out of all those lads that are on that list. But yeah, I think he has a tough decision. I think he should just go with 26, to be honest, go with tournament, give himself more options. See, particularly when we've lads that aren't playing well and are playing a lot of minutes and lads are coming back from injuries, you'll see in training those days who's fit and who's not actually that fit. And you might be able to judge a lot more rather than doing other things. I don't know what you think, Martin, of the forwards wise.
Yeah, yeah. Look, it's where we are. I mean, thinking about the challenge, I think if Michael Johnston was fit, probably Casey McAteer would have been the one out there. I think, as I said, it's a massive opportunity for some of these players. Like Adam Eder, he's got something to prove. Like again, Evan Ferguson's out, isn't he? So,
Yeah.
Who would have missed out? But it's a massive opportunity for these ones who are going to make this 26-man squad. I think it will be 26. I think he has to be clever with that, especially with the two suspensions and things. But it's up to them now. They get the call up and they go into training and absolutely tear it up. Look, we are on the. We do like Sinclair Armstrong. Of course, I think it offers something different. I think he will actually offer here. I mean, we will obviously be covering the the game against Czechia in more detail, a bit of a kind of tactical breakdown as well on it, and what kind of game we think it's going to be, because I think it will be suited to certain players. So, I just
The reality is we both think Sinclair Armstrong should be in the squad. Simple as that. We both think that. I think it's easy to say.
But again, people will hammer us on that, and they say, "Oh, he doesn't score, he doesn't do this." I think he's different to everyone else in that forward line up. Like what he does.
Do you not think everyone's back? Like I've seen some, because I posted this on every platform, obviously, and I have seen some amount of comments saying that Sinclair Armstrong should be in the squad. So people are back loving him again. Once he goes through a good patch or a couple of goals, the thing is, people only have to see him score once a month, and people would think, well, he's back doing really well again. So I think people know at this stage, thanks to people like David Dunn, who give the tactical breakdown what sort of player he is, that he is that sort of player. He's not going to score loads, but he'll offer something different. So I think we would both have him in there, but I can understand why others are being picked, and even like Johnny Kenny offers something different to likes of Troy Power, to likes of Alameda. Like Johnny Kenny loves to run in behind spin defenders and is a brilliant finisher, and I think he's shown it. So even I would be more tempted to be Alameda. I would take Alameda out and not Johnny Kenny, because I just think fitness wise, I just don't think it makes sense. Even though I think Alameda obviously is very, very talented, but I don't think Alameda is going to play a single game between now and the window, because they have currently the most informed striker at the club in the championship at Swansea at the moment. And I think maybe he might get 10-15 minutes off a bench, and if they're chasing the game, but I really don't see the minutes he gets, which I feel bad for him, because obviously they spent a lot of money on him this summer. But if you lose, as to say, so it's just hard. I don't want to predict the squad, but there's a lot of players in there that I just think could easily be replaced. And I think form, I know we want to try to cross it, but I think form could matter to some extent between now and between now and end of March. And I think David Dunn made the shout the other day that if Owen Elding's passport and all was done, he would bring Owen Elding in the team, which I wouldn't be against either. But I think it's another one that's kind of like, what do you do? And even Rocco Vata is out injured at the moment, who I think would have definitely, if Mikey Johnston is definitely out, because we presume, I think we just have to presume he will be out, because if there's no confirmation yet, but I think he would have been the one to take his place if he was fit. So it's a really tough one, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
What way do you approach it? I think it's just a good thing that I've done. I made it now on purpose, because we're 24 days out. I think it's what would be if the squad, for example, was picked tomorrow and the lads that are injured at the moment were suddenly back tomorrow. So I think it's just the way. And obviously, there's been no confirmation that Evan's out, but it seems by all accounts that he is out. And actually, I know John O'Shea went to Loftus Road on Saturday to watch QPR against Sheffield United. Maybe he was presuming Ogbene would play as well, and hope Mark McGuinness was an unused sub. He's nowhere near it, obviously. But Jimmy Dunn played 90 minutes. I think Tom Cannon played 88. But Tom Cannon is really, really struggling to make any sort of impact at the moment. But maybe he could be a shock. Maybe they're trying to see as many strikers as possible at the moment, obviously, with Mr. Ferguson looking to be out. But yeah, I think we have options. That's a good thing. We do have options. It's just no one's really kind of made the spot their own, if you get me.
No, and that is the thing. But I think, Johnny Kenny, I think, is definitely one. Again, it just shows you, like you said, I think it's a good point what you made there earlier, that if he was at Celtic still and scoring goals, the odd goal there, it's a no-brainer he's in there. Just that he's gone to Bolton, people are just dismissive of it. So it's an interesting one. Right, while you're loading up Obig, because I don't think it's there.
It's not, is it?
No.
Oh, sorry, you talk away.
Professional always. Just to let you know, the Raw Faithful, that if you'd like to support the page and our channel a bit further, you can do so by buy us a coffee. The link is in the description to do that. And we also have our fantastic sticker and coaster set that we had designed. There's Heimer, Coleman, Parrot, and Collins beer themed sticker collection, and also bar coasters look brilliant in a man cave if you have one. And we want to see those stickers all over Czechia come the 26th of March, and also in Dublin on the 31st of March when we take on the winners of North Macedonia or Denmark. Just a quick check-in on that then, Connor. I know people are asking us about Czechia and stuff. North Macedonia, don't know much about them, I'm going to be very, very honest, but Kasper Schmeichel's form's getting a lot of abuse, isn't it? Dropped by Celtic. And also, I know, Connor, you've kept this really, really quiet tonight, but I know that you wanted to wish Martin O'Neill a very happy 74th birthday. Did you enjoy seeing him in the melee after the Old Firm game there the other day? 74-year-old getting well involved there, breaking it all up.
He's grown on me a bit, in fairness, at this time at Celtic. He's not, well, I wouldn't say he's grown on me. Still have my opinions on him, but like he's not done any harm for his stature in my eyes. But yeah, in fairness to him, he's doing a good job. But they still could not bottle because they're not the top rating. But I think there's a bad result for them at the weekend, drawing 2-2, even though they got back to 2-2. But it was a lose-lose for both teams, wasn't it? Both kind of worst case scenario, because it lets Arts extend their lead. But yeah, fair play to him. He got stuck in. Those things are still uploading, so I don't know. Oh, there's one. The goalkeepers are through there, so you can go into iPick there now.
Right, perfect. And we will be getting to your comments very, very soon as well. But thank you so far for watching. Make sure you have subscribed. And of course, check out our fantastic new partner, Traveligo, and like the video as well. Traveligo, just to let you know, we had a chat about them earlier. Do some fantastic trips around Europe for the Premier League as well. Every kind of sporting event they can cover, your travel, hotel, VIP packages as well. So a fantastic partner we've got now involved with Lansdowne Raw, and we're looking forward to working with them and looking forward to booking our trip to America and Mexico for the World Cup via them as well. So anyway, we're going to go into Obig now, where we find out how the boys in green got on over the weekend. And here we go with the goalkeepers. So Queeveen Kelleher was not in the squad for Brentford. Congratulations to Queeveen and his partner, of course, on their baby. Max O'Leary, 90 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Oxford. Josh Keeley, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Port Vale. And Mark Travers, an unused sub for Everton. And Gavin Bazzino is still out injured with Stoke City. But yeah, Queeveen Kelleher obviously missed a game there, as I said, birth of his baby. So congratulations. And lots of comments online with that one. You know, Roy Keane's quote of when he was asked about Robbie Keane's baby at the time when he hadn't trained or something. Why he wasn't there? Well, he didn't have the baby, did he? So yeah, that was a bit of fun with that one, of course. But yeah, wishing them all the very best, of course. And I did see one little thing, or at least we know he won't drop the baby, which I thought was quite funny. Okay, here come the defenders. Robbie Brady, 27 minutes, he's back. Preston North End in a 2-0 loss versus Millwall. John Egan, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Portsmouth for Hull. Seamus Coleman out injured at the moment with Everton. Nathan Collins was an unused sub for Brentford. Matt Doherty was an unused sub for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And Joshua Honohan out injured with Lincoln. And Jacob Bryan, 90 minutes in a 3-2 win versus Newcastle for Everton. Andrew Bamadelli had 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Lens for Strasbourg. Darragh O'Shea, 90 minutes, a 3-0 win versus Swansea for Ipswich Town. Liam Scales, 90 minutes in the Old Firm derby in a 2-2 draw with Rangers. James Abankwah, 90 minutes, 2-1 win versus Bristol City for Watford. Jimmy Dunn, 90 minutes, 2-0 loss versus Sheffield United for QPR. And Callum O'Dowda, an unused sub for Ferencváros. Mark McGuinness, an unused sub for Sheffield United. Ryan Manning, 90 minutes and a goal in a 3-1 win versus Sheffield Wednesday for Southampton. Aaron Cash in 90 minutes in a 3-1 loss versus Derby for Blackburn. Anselmo Garcia McNulty, 90 minutes in a 0-0 draw versus Ajax for Zwolle. And Will Ferry was an unused sub for Dundee United. And Corey Ndaba, 45 minutes and a 3-1 loss versus Como for Lecce. And that is your defenders.
Yeah.
Oh, Connor?
Probably Ryan Manning is probably the standout again. His third free kick of the season he scored. 6th goal of the season, his most ever in the championship campaign. So he's flying. He'd lost his place obviously in the team for a while, and now he's got it back and doing really well. Great to see. Obviously set piece specialist is going to be huge, hopefully for St. March, because we've not seen it from it all really in an Ireland shirt. I know he takes set pieces quite good at them, but he's never really had a moment where we thought, oh yeah, it was a brilliant free kick by Manning. I know he set up a few goals, but more from open play. So yeah, hopefully we'll see him smash home a free kick in the playoffs, because I think he'll keep that run going. I think it's a great opportunity. And obviously Brady coming back at the weekend was huge for us as well. And that's two lads who take really well set piece. Although I do think Robbie really set piece ability is quite overrated at times. People act like it is Ronaldo stepping up. Oh, no, actually Ronaldo's not great. Maybe Messi stepping up and hitting it. But yeah, Manning is doing really well at the moment. Aaron Cashin is doing well. I know they lost his Oakland derby at the weekend. Good result for Garcia McNulty getting a clean sheet against Ajax. Corey and Davis started against Como, but taken off at half time, which is probably not great. I didn't see the match. I don't know how well he done or not. Will Ferry, unused sub. I don't know what's happened there. Mark McGuinness is in no man's land, to be honest, at Sheffield United at the moment. COD, it's just a COD at this stage. Other than that, Coleman missed the weekend actually with a niggle, according to David Moyes. I think they play tomorrow because there's games tomorrow. Again, I think they play Burnley. I don't think he said he won't be involved then either. So hopefully by the weekend he's fine. It's just as long as he's fine for March, I don't care, to be honest with you. Other than that, James Abankwa's probably been the under. I know he's spoken past, but he's doing really well still. Maybe it could be a shock selection. I don't see it happening, but he's doing really well. Big for the 21s to have a player of that ability playing at the centre of the defence. Andrew Mobamadelli, third start in a row in the league for Strasbourg. Great to see. I know they conceded a late equaliser, but I think it's huge for him to get regular starts in the league, do really well. I know they have no midweek action, so that's probably why he's starting 3 in a row and that sort of thing, because it was kind of under a senior, he was kind of starting he was starting once a week anyway because they were playing league and Europe. So, but to start 3 in a row in the league, doing very well. Just staying fit's the main thing for him. I think it's probably the best thing for him at the moment is playing one game a week.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the ideal thing for him. One game a week in 90 minutes, and then building from there. So we all know he's so much talent. It's just by staying fit. So it's great to see him being. I know you're saying you can't trust him to stay fit, but if he stays fit between now and March, I think that would change a lot in a lot of people's eyes, because that's probably the longest he would have gone in ages. But and then obviously the real downer of the weekend, no start again for Mr. Nathan Collins. I'm not really worried about it, to be honest, because I know he will get his place back, and it's just going to be one of those things. But the only positive I did see when they went 3-0 up, and I was like thinking, oh, or 2-0 up. Was it 2-0 up? They went
3-0.
3-0 up, and I was thinking, not again. Oh, they're going to win 3-0. They're going to win 5 or 6-0 here. Clean sheet. And you're like, oh, they're not going to drop him then, because and they've played a lot of these teams have played. They've not been the strongest, or they've played quite poorly against Brentford. But they went and conceded 3 goals in a row, and I was thinking, oh, I was like, and then they actually went 4-3 up, if you remember, and then the goal was disallowed. Yeah, and I was thinking, oh, Collins will definitely come back in now because it's a good excuse. And then obviously Keller didn't play, which obviously doesn't help. But I think the backup keeper didn't do anything wrong. It was just the goals they scored were maybe defenders and midfielders' fault. So I'm hoping that because they conceded 3 goals the other day, it'll mean he has to come back. And I think he's the club captain. He's a superb defender. He's going to go on a huge career, hopefully in the Premier League, get bigger and better things. But it's just not a great look if this just keeps going on where he's sitting on the bench and stuff. Obviously under an Irish manager who's obviously will always have a slight bias towards Irish players. But I think maybe because he's Irish and he's such a good relations with him, he can kind of speak to him and say to him why he's not playing at the moment and move on. But I think he'll definitely come back in before the playoffs. I would be shocked if he didn't. And it's just disappointing, though. It's just another game of not even just not playing. So not just even not starting, he just didn't play at all. I know he came on just before half time last weekend, made that awful mistake for the goal, which doesn't help at all. But maybe hopefully this week he might come back in the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about it, to be fair. I think it's all right. I'm not too worried. I think it's not a bad thing that he's actually having a little bit of time out from it. And then they're not. Yes, I like you. So when they're 3-0 up, I thought, oh, geez, here we go. But and then you see Kelleher not starting as well. So because I thought, Jesus, what's going on here? But anyway, right, we're going to go on to the midfielders. Here we go. Jason Knight, 90 minutes in a 2-1 loss versus Watford for Bristol City. Killian Phillips, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Livingston for St Mirren. Will Smallbone, cousin Will, out injured at Millwall still. Jack Taylor, 29 minutes in a 3-0 win versus Swansea for Ipswich Town. Josh Cullen, out injured for the season, of course, with Burnley. Vinazaz, 90 minutes in a 3-1 win versus Sheffield Wednesday for Southampton. Mark Sykes, 76 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Watford for Bristol City. Jason Malumbi, 90 minutes in a 2-1 loss versus Oxford for West Brom. Andy Moran, an unused sub at Preston North End. Jamie McGrath, 90 minutes and a goal in a 3-3 draw versus Dundee for Hibs. Alan Brown on the bench versus Birmingham for Middlesbrough. Boston Lowell out injured at the moment at Stoke. Connor Coventry, 74 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Wrexham for Charlton. Joe Hodge, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Santa Clara. And Jacob Devaney, an unused sub for St. Mirren. And that is your midfielders. Right, Connor?
Yeah.
Not a lot
I think
happened there.
it's we're starting off with Jamie McGrath, probably the most underappreciated man in Irish football. Having an unreal season. We didn't even mention him when talking about the
No.
squad. I think was disrespectful, to be honest.
Well,
Because
it's not my
he's done
squad.
quite-
I haven't done my one yet. So if you talk
No,
about
but-
disrespect,
No, but like we didn't mention
yours.
it. You had the opportunity, but predicting it, it's just I don't.
No, I was
predict
waiting
the
for
squad.
Obig, so I can come in with it now. Yeah.
Oh,
So I'll
yeah,
ask you,
yeah.
why have
But he
you?
scores his 8th goal of the season. It looked like he got the winner. He scored. Was it the 90th minute he scored to put them 3-0 up, and it was a brilliant goal in fairness. But then then Dundee went and scored the 95th minute, so a bit of dramatics there away to Dundee. But yeah, he's been brilliant all season. When I watched him a couple of times since obviously Owen Elding's come in, I thought he's been absolutely excellent. I think he is a lot more suited to this Ireland team than Sammy Szmodics is. With his technical ability, I think technically he's a better footballer than Szmodics in terms of kind of first touch, keeping hold of the ball, keeping things ticking over, picking out a pass. I think he's better than Szmodics. Just Szmodics is, I think he's better in front of goal and maybe is a bit cuter with his runs and stuff in the box. But I think in terms of overall play, I think I'd rather have Jimmy McGrath in the squad. And he has actually played off the left for us before and kind of that left number 10 role. So I think Jamie McGrath is probably the most underappreciated Irish player at the moment. I think he's a really good player and brilliant with both feet as well, which I know we can say, it's only one thing, but it's always a positive to have. Good to see Joe Hodge start again for Tondela. He actually picked up the assist for the goal. I forgot to add that in against Santa Clara, who obviously Shamrock Rovers beat in the Conference League to qualify in the summer. Conor Coventry started for Charlton, although we all know it was really only because Conor Cody wasn't playing. We'll know more maybe this week if Conor Cody plays or not, or starts or not, whether how highly they think of Conor Coventry at present. I know Alan Byrne had him on bench against Birmingham because that was, don't know when the game had, the lines just came out. He came on for the last 15 minutes tonight, which is not great, to be honest. I watched Finn Azaz on Saturday for what happened against Sheffield Wednesday. I thought he was excellent. Played 2 unreal balls that he should have got 2 assists for. Thought he was very, very good. Another 90 minutes in the legs. Andy Moore's situation just continues to baffle me. I'm really pissed off about it. It just screams desperation signing by all parties. And we spoke about it last week, but it was so obvious that Preston only signed him because they seen that this really, really talented player with so much ability was available for 1.5 million, and he was looking to get out of Brighton and get a new club. And obviously he was obviously waiting on a better deal, or maybe the whole window just didn't. There was no options coming that he thought he'd get. So just so disappointed, to be honest, about that. Like, why did they sign him? Like, it's just really disappointing. Other than that, midfielders wise, Jason Knight's back's playing every game, doing quite well. Other than that, it's kind of not much really happening. Malumbi played 90 minutes, was probably good for Ireland. He played 90 minutes, but West Brom lost again. So yeah, not really. A lot of boringness, to be honest, Martin.
Yeah, we need some goal scoring from midfield, though, I think. Yeah, but like Finnis has scored recently, so it's not too bad.
He scored last midweek. Yeah, he did.
He did. Yeah, so yeah, and yeah. So, right, we're going on to the attackers. Here we go. Percy Abasele, not in the squad for Istanbul. Evan Ferguson out injured and out the March games, of course, for Roma. Alameda is out injured at the moment with Swansea. Casey McAteer, 20 minutes in a 3-0 win versus Swansea for Ipswich Town. Troy Parrott, 45 minutes in a 2-0 loss versus Utrecht. Sammy Szmodics, 45 minutes in a 2-1 win versus former club Blackburn. Sinclair Armstrong, half an hour for 2-1 loss versus Watford for Bristol City. And Mikey Johnston, 22 minutes, came off injured in 2-1 loss. Rocco Vata, out injured at Watford. Tom Cannon, 88 minutes at 2-0 win versus QPR for Sheffield United. Chidozie Ogbene, not in the squad for Sheffield United, but did play for the under-21s, we mentioned earlier. Tyler Goodrum is out injured at Oxford. And Adomo Amaku, 30 minutes, 2-1 win versus West Brom for Oxford. Johnny Kenny, 80 minutes and a goal and assist in a 5-1 win versus Exeter for Bolton. Owen Elding, 90 minutes and a goal and a 3-3 draw versus Dundee for Hibs. And Melenik Ali, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss versus Hull for Portsmouth. And that is your forwards. Not lots and lots of goals there, but still got a lot of other players injured, as we said. Spoke earlier about Mikey Johnson being out that we think will be out now for the March games as well. But we need some of these lads to start scoring. We need Troy to stay fit, of course. And I've seen actually one of the comments, which we'll come on to very, very soon. But Aaron, you did make this point. Parrott's going to be playing in Czechia for both club and country. Hopefully, they'll be sick of the sight of him. And that was obviously in relation to AZ Alkmaar getting Prague in the next round of the Europa League, is it? So yeah, we need some goal scorers. We need to hit a run of goals, or maybe we just need them to just keep it happy like it is now, and then let's go mad in 26th of March.
Martin, it was kind of dominated by Sligo men scoring at the weekend. It was a good weekend for Sligo altogether in terms of goal scores. Liam Kerrigan, who obviously is not because he's playing in Serie C, scored for Ternana yesterday. Owen Elding scored for Hibs on Saturday, and Johnny Kenny scored for Bolton on Saturday. So it was good for this. Even the Sligo Rovers ex-academy, all the lads came through the academy, so it shows the level of player they've brought through of the academy last couple of years. So they're doing magnificent work. I think pound for pound across the country, they can match anyone. But it was great to see Johnny Kenny get the goal assist, man the match, brilliant. Never stops running. The assist I thought he got was absolutely brilliant. The quality of the touch to put it in front of himself and then put it across the box was excellent. And then he went and got his goal. I don't know if the header actually hit his head or off his shoulder. Maybe I might have to text him and ask him to know for certain. But he's doing really well.
Just something just drop on the floor there. Pick that name off the floor, will you?
No, but I think it's actually because I was meant to ask him, but I never forgot to ask him. Like,
friend.
No, but because I don't know, because the corner came over and he swung his head at it, and I don't know if it bounced. Maybe someone else might know. But he scored an assist. He was brilliant. He got man of the match. The fans love him, but she badly needed again was the love from the fans, which was disgraceful abuse he was getting at Celtic for doing nothing wrong. Like, but yeah, it's good to see Johnny Kenny. And the thing is, he's going from basically playing the level of League One to playing League One. So like nothing's changed for him really. He's just maybe he's playing in a team that isn't as good as Bolton, but he's playing against the same level opposition, if you get me. So I don't think there's much to worry about. And then obviously Owen Elding, what a talent that lad is. An unbelievable header again the weekend, and his movement for it was brilliant. His second goal for Hibs in 3 starts is and his second header. He should really have 3 goals in 3 starts, or maybe possibly 4, because there was 2 times against Celtic he should have been put through inside the box for time to finish it. And Martin Boyle didn't pass him the ball, but thankfully he got the header at the weekend. I think he's such a good talent. I think he's so much ability and he's so much potential to go on and do things, because the thing with Owen Elding, like, you just see how much he backs himself. Like, from the first game from Hibs, he was taking the ball and he was shooting for 40 yards. I know one of them ended up being an absolute disaster for a shot, but like, he just backs himself and he knows how good he is, and that's the positive about him. And like, I think he's just going to do huge things. And like, he's went over to Hibs, who are obviously a better side than Sligo, no disrespect, and going through lads who are internationals for Ireland, for a couple of Scotland lads, play for Scotland. I'm sure his lads are playing with other countries with them as well, and he's settling so quickly. He's just such a unreal talent, and he's so much ability to go do huge things for club and country. But I just don't know if it's going to be done in time for March. To obviously would be the 21s. Like, he definitely should be considered for the first team at this stage as a potential, maybe on the list of players they're watching. But I think he's such a talented player. But hopefully it's just the start of him scoring goals for fun in Scotland, which I do think he will do, and Hibs will end up making a lot of money on him. Other than that, Millie Ali got another 90 minutes. It was good. He's doing quite well. Szmodics got 80 minutes in that win against Derby. Troy got 45 minutes in that loss to Utrecht. I've seen a lot of people worried was he injured, but the way look, if you do a quick bit of research on it, they're playing 2 games a week from last week until the international break, which is 5 weeks, 6 weeks of 2 games a week. So it's like the space 12 games and in the space of 6 weeks, or 10 games in the space of 5 weeks. So like, he can't start every game. He can't play every minute every game. You'll end up killing the poor lad. And like, he played 90 minutes against Noah from Armenia midweek. I don't know why he played 90. I think it's probably because he didn't score, and it was a surprise to everyone that he didn't score. And maybe they wanted him to get a goal and then take him off, but he didn't get a goal, and he played 45 minutes yesterday, so it's not a big worry. I do think tomorrow, Martin, is absolutely huge for Sinclair Armstrong. I think that could define what he's going to make the squad, or not the fact his performance. I think if he scores tomorrow and does well, he'd keep his place for the weekend, and then it'll give him the chance to go and really nail himself down in the team at Bristol City and start maybe every game and get a couple of goals and get in the squad. But if he doesn't score tomorrow, obviously it'll give the manager to bring Reece on off the bench, and obviously if Reece scores off the bench or something, that's the problem. The problem is with Sinclair, like, he was so good last midweek against Wrexham off the bench, got the goal, was unreal. Played against Swansea at the weekend. That was top class against them. And then obviously through rotation, they started Reece midweek against Blackburn, and he scored a ridiculous volley. So then Reece obviously kept his place then to the weekend. So that's kind of the luck. It's like Reece only plays well when he comes out of the team and is kind of coming off the bench for Sinclair, that sort of thing. So hopefully he will start tomorrow. It's just whether he makes the most of it. But yeah, in terms of attackers, that's kind of a quiet weekend. Obviously, Didzy stole the show, didn't he? But he's obviously not now. But maybe he can work his way back on it.
Honorary, Obig. Didzy. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And thanks for the roundup, Connor. Absolutely great. And we're going to get onto your comments now. So we've got quite a bit to get through, but we're going to fly through them really, really quick. And we'll try and answer every one of those questions as well. But now on to your comments. Okay, right. Yeah, we opened the show obviously chatting about Didzy, and Kean Prendergast said, Didzy in the box, Didzy in the box. Was his little song there? Call him up, says Nick. And he also says, if Ferguson and Ida are out, I'd consider it. There's not much better. But he also says he'd bring in Sinclair Armstrong as well. Paul Patrick Fagan, welcome along to the show, up Ireland. And Michael Mahoney says, McGoldrick is not a bad shout, actually. He's a natural goal scorer. Okay, we won't get carried away. He scored once for Ireland. But no, I know what you mean. He's in better form now. Do you think he's better now than he was when he played for Ireland?
As a player, no, because he was playing in the Premier League. Okay. He was playing in the Premier League. No, maybe in different aspects. Maybe he's a smarter player or something. He's
smarter, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but no, he's still just physically, he's obviously declined.
Yeah. And Michael Manny also says Johnston is a huge loss. Nick, we don't like this negative from Nick here, but can't see the current men's senior team beating Czech. Okay. And also at CLW2723, given the amount of injuries and players getting less minutes in a slight dip of form, are you still optimistic for Czechia?
We're always optimistic. Yeah. Obviously, we're obviously nervous because naturally things for such a big game of football and against a team that have some good players. But
I was thinking about this the other day, and obviously brilliant with confirmation of tickets now and things like that. Over 1,000 Irish fans are going to be there, of course. And I was thinking, it's not far away, and it could be an absolutely brilliant march for Ireland. Obviously, got the St. Patrick's Day to celebrate, Cheltenham Festival, dominate that against the British, and also French horses as well. And then we just go on to see Ireland qualify for a World Cup. It could be one of the best marches ever, apart from the ones you used to like walking on.
Yeah, Paddy's Day march. You'd be there on the 12th, wouldn't you? Let's go,
Anyway, Mr. Una Baguette, Michael Johnston's not a big loss. He's a poor man's Aidan McGeady. Go back and watch Portugal's winner back in Lisbon and keep an eye on Michael Johnston for the cross. Yeah, he didn't get out quick enough, did he? God, that was gutting being there watching that. Aaron Gubbins, hi Aaron, one of our Raw Plus followers. Well, lads, great to listen to you as always. Class ad from Sky Island. I think it's class. It has Festi, Nathan Collins, Amber Barrett, McCabe, and Parrott goal. This is obviously promoting Irish football, of course, as a key sponsor, the FAI. But he also goes on to say, we obviously wish the Republic of Ireland women the best of luck tomorrow, taking on France in Tala. The women's team have a big test tomorrow. Yeah, big game that. Seen a couple of interviews today with Katie McCabe. Lots of speculation. That she's obviously on the way out of Arsenal, but I've seen the training stuff as well. Have you seen the new Irish training stuff? Connor, do you like a bit of that?
No, I don't really.
I don't really have an opinion.
You don't?
Yeah.
No, I don't like it. I said much rather.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like it. The green, yeah, don't like it. The one I've got on now.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yours
and also Aaron says frustrating to see Collins on the bench. He really rates him, and it's a bit worrying. A lot of the players are getting no game time. Yeah, we've just gone through Obig and we've updated how they are, but we want to keep them fit. Ultimately, Gaelic edits, welcome along. Johnson isn't much of a loss, really, as long as Azaz is fit and ready to go. Heimer doesn't like him anyway, does he? Doesn't he? Doesn't like Johnson?
Doesn't really play him, to be honest.
No. And Nick also says Johnston's more of a creator than a goal scorer. Here's one for you, Connor, but we'll be covering this in a bit more detail going forward. Does anybody know what Czech Republic situation is like in comparison to ours in terms of injury and form?
In terms of form, they're doing quite well. I seen a post, I think it was Positive, about lads doing well. Obviously Patrick Schick is scoring goals for Leverkusen, but it's obviously Leverkusen's hard to know level. And then they won last week in the Champions League. I think he scored twice in as a qualified for the next round, but I can't remember who. But they're playing Arsenal in the next round, so it'll be good. That'll be before it won't it? Other than that, Pavel Sulik, the boy at Leon, who's kind of their main sort of player in terms of creativity, kind of doing the most of them, got injured last week against Strasbourg, but it seems like he'll definitely be back. I said like he'll be out for 2 to 6 weeks, so like he will be back in time, I'd say. I've seen Matty Vidra, if you remember Matty Vidra from back in the day, playing for, did he ever played for Burnley, Derby, Watford, Reading, and West Brom, like one of those real lads. He's still playing for Victoria Pilsen. He got injured the other day, but I don't think he would play unless like Schick's injured. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well. I've seen Vladimir Kufal on Who Score has the highest Who Score written by any fullback in Europe this season at Hoffenheim. So like they are doing very well and they have a lot of decent players, but you just hope that we could get the job done.
Okay. Where are we now? I lost myself a little bit there. Again, it's also said Johnston. I'd say Johnston be useful off the bench. We were desperate for a goal, but he didn't get off the bench in Budapest. Kian Prendergast also says Johnston's a bit like Rocco Vata, very technical. Looks like he plays a bit with 10 when he comes on, and Manning is higher. And Gaelic Edits also says Heimer wants Manning offering the width from the left with Azad playing the pockets. If you want a player to bring on close out a game, I'd rather Casey McAteer over Johnson. Aaron also says good to see Roma bottling it again. Good enough for Gasparini. Yeah, we do like a bit of Irish bitterness when an Irishman's been wronged. We like or our perception of it, and they've still yet to beat a big team. Joe McCarthy, big clarification on why I do like the profile picture of Declan Rice crying there. Celtic fans are a necessarily angry bunch, but with their main complaint with MJ, Michael Johnson, was always to do with him going missing games and being lethargic. After watching him for years, we can't disagree. And Nick also says Szmodics is a second striker or the small guy in the front two. He would have been great in the 4-4-2 generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah. And Aaron also says Aaron Elding is Owen Eldon. Sorry, I'm reading his name. Owen Eldon is doing really well. Fair play to him. And he is either back, lads. He will be needed.
He will be back, but he's not back yet.
He will be back. No. Gaelic Edits also says that we're looking to replace Johnson with somebody of a similar play style. Surely Armstrong Okaflex is the best option. He plays at a lower level than the Championship, but is in goal scoring form. Okaflex seems to be a lad who took his talent for granted. It's good to see him finally working hard. I thought for the last under-21s, he was always the best winger when he got to play.
Agreed. I thought he was brilliant when he played. I thought he was terribly underused. But yeah, he is very like Johnson. He's very technically really good, really sharp. He's doing unbelievably well in Bulgaria. It's actually his birthday, so Martin wish him happy birthday. But yeah, he's a really good player. I think it'll probably take his next club, which I do think he will get at a new club. I know he only signed for Levski Sofia from Botev Plovdiv in January, but I think he could end up moving this summer if they make enough money off him, or next winter or next summer. But yeah, really, really talented player. They'll probably be in the Champions League qualifiers next year, so maybe that could be a real opportunity for him to show his levels. But yeah, he is really good, and he is definitely the most like for like in terms of his skill set, in terms of throwing dummies, step overs and stuff. And maybe he's will be more suited to international football because he's more of a athlete than you'd say than maybe Michael Johnson is.
Yep. Okay. Aaron Gubbins also says, do you see any shot call up for the March like Hodge, Armstrong, or Okaflex?
I think it might mean Armstrong Okaflex.
Oh, sorry.
Rather not, because I don't think Sinclair Armstrong's really a shock if he's called up. Like, I don't think anyone would be that surprised. Whilst Armstrong, I don't see any. Maybe Millie Ali, maybe.
Okay. Joe McCarthy.
I would say I would be shocked if Matt Doherty called up. Unless Seamus Coleman's out injured, but if it stays how it is, I would be shocked.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't think he'll be called up, but I'm going to be interested to see when he is asked about it, Matt Doherty, because I think there will be a bit of a backlash on that. Like, I think is he just under 50 caps for Ireland?
No, he has made 50. He's 51. I think he's on now.
He has, right? Yeah, but I just think he will see it as, he has said it in the past, hasn't he? Feeling disrespected and things how he's been treated. I don't think he'll let it go. If you have that mentality, I don't think you'll not get a point across. It'd be interesting to see how that is handled if he's asked. And I think he'll feel that he was thrown under the bus basically from that Hungary result. Also a bit of Szmodics clarification here from Joe McCarthy. He says the Szmodics stuff is always blown out of proportion, lads. We know he was legitimately struggling with injury when he pulled out and had to get surgery. He seems like a strange character of what he puts on social media, but the abuse sent to him after Armenia was awful. It was mostly just fans being angry after Armenia and taking it out on him. After the Hungary win, he put up a post on Twitter celebrating the win and deleted it very soon after because of abuse. I wouldn't be surprised if he feels unwelcome at this stage. Yeah, the abuse was really unnecessary, I think. I mean, he actually engaged a bit, didn't he? And with different fans as well, on that. But I mean, never want to see players get abuse, and of course, it's not right. But I don't think he's done himself any favors as well. And I think you've got to be a bit bigger. If you're a professional footballer with a high profile like that, you just don't engage. Why would you not just leave up a post congratulating Ireland that you're part of the squad and team? Just turn off your notifications or comments or whatever it is. So I don't think he should have deleted it anyway, would be my view.
You can turn off people replying to your story, so.
Yeah, you can, can't you? Yeah. So just then don't engage. If Omar Bamatani doesn't get called up, says Nick, then I'd really question Heimer. He's so much better than any of our centre backs in the Championship and playing at a much higher level. And he also says, I don't think Festi will even get called up unless he starts playing for his club.
That is a good question. Because he's going to miss the first game. If Festi doesn't play, because I know he was back, it seemed like he'd removed everything from Istanbul, but now he's back loving them again. But was back training early last week, but hasn't been. I think they played twice last week and wasn't in the squad in either game. So it'd be interesting.
But even that though, if he's again, we just talked about Sammy Szmodics there and his social media interaction. It's brilliant. You get so much good insight into it. I actually seen Callum Robinson. What's he promoting? He's on something now, isn't it? Some weird thing. Anyway, but players are just so. You've seen it with Kobe Mainoo's brother and stuff. You see players just tweeting, or everyone reads into every reaction to a player's post. But again, I think it's a little bit childish in a way of, I don't know, maybe this young generation of players kind of, they delete all links to something as if just throwing the toys out. For me, I mean, I don't know. I just don't get that. AX2672 says Omar Bamadeli has to be in the squad over Jimmy Dunn, and Joe Hodge is better than most of them lads in midfield and playing more minutes than most too. Aaron Gubbins asked, did you see Roy Keane on the overlap mentioning us to Martinez beating him? Yeah, great crack that was. Did enjoy seeing him dig him out on that. Got a bit of League of Ireland questions coming up a little bit, and there is a question as well, which is really good, and we will be covering on State of Play from Aaron, which State of Play is our fantastic extra content that we provide on Lansdowne Raw Plus for $4.99 a month.
Do we see it out tomorrow or Wednesday? I would say tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday.
Wednesday it'll be out. Yeah, probably will do one. But that's State of Play, and we will have a little chat about actually something that's going to be suggested in here, which I'm going to come on to. But where is it? Lost it.
Do you want to be a great State of Play video, Martin? Do you remember the video Aaron requested us to do when we gave our real thoughts about everything in terms of the Irish team app? But this is before the last window. Us reacting to our opinions.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah, that was a bit. We went out. Yeah, it's well worth it. $4.99. You can go back and get the archive, but yeah, it's well worth a listen there on that. That was one of the most explosive, argumentative kind of pods we ever did. I think it was great fun. Well, lads, thoughts there on the League of Ireland Ultra Group forming a joint alliance with the aim of getting the Israel game scrapped. I've not seen much of this at all, to be honest.
I've just seen the social media post, but
yeah, I'll have a look at it. I'd like to read into it a little bit more.
I think just a statement there. I didn't read. I just seen the different fan groups and looked at it after.
Yeah. So we will cover that on a future show. We've got that one already. Clem Fandango says, just got here. Are the lads a bit underwhelmed with Trent's move to Mulder? It seems too much of a step down. That's sort of Trent Kona-Doherty. Obviously, we spoke about this last week. Transfer for him. I think it's a good move. I think it's and Nick also clarifies here. Going from academy football to Norwegian football is definitely a step up.
100%.
So yeah.
No, 100% totally agree.
Clem also says he wouldn't be playing academy football much longer, surely. But well, it's that reservy stuff in under 23s and
It's not a high level.
No, shy. Anyway, yeah. So I'm actually we spoke about it during the week. We can go back on our archives as well and get that. And we spoke and we thought it was a good move overall. Need to fix Johnny Kenny on Obig because Kenny has a cap for Ireland, so that's an error on Dave.
Dave,
we'll blame Dave.
Dave.
8 tweets to him. And Nichols says the Norwegian league is fairly strong, again in relation to Conor Doherty's move to Molde, probably near championship level. They're having a good chat here. That could be true, but he probably could have got a move to a stronger league if he'd waited until summer. This is it for state of play. Aaron, predict who's going down in the Prem and your top 6 in the championship. We will do that on state of play. And Nick also says, I don't think so. He's played no senior minutes bar a few against Plymouth. This is about Conor Doherty again. I think he's picked a good club that will develop him further.
100%.
And Clem also says, maybe you're right, but it seems like he'll have further to climb now. But look, I think it's a great move. He's going to get minutes and things like that. Laser Live says, hey lads, I'm on the way back from supporting Galway United in Richmond Park. I'm absolutely fantastic, in case you're wondering.
Man, but he's lost. Oh, I think sarcasm there. I seen Cian Levy scored a last minute winner for Pats, so he's probably got it.
Aaron Gubbins also says it was funny seeing the overlap. Neville saying England are up there as one of the favourites, and Martinez says they're in around the top 8. You can see how surprised they were. Daniel says he watched Bolton on Saturday, and Kenny was a key player for them, and Armstrong should be in the squad. Should both be in the squad, even if Ida is fit. Ida has not done much in the champ, and Sinclair has. And Alan Corley says Dawson Devoy should be in the Nations League squad. Your thoughts? Hope you're well, gents, says John Gale. Yeah, all good. Thank you. Thanks for joining the show.
My opinion, people are going a bit over the top. We can't just keep doing this thing every year. It's one League of Ireland player after one player starts the season unbelievably well, and doesn't he's a top player, but like, come on. He's competing against lads in the championship. Like, there's levels to the game. And I know Dawson is a brilliant player, but he has to show it at a higher level. And he hasn't, because I know he's shown it against Shamrock Rovers last week. But like, that's one big game, and I know he's a brilliant player, and he's definitely the player of the season so far. But like, we're 4 games into the season. Like, people need to calm down, like Nations League. And the reality is, he should have already been capped for Ireland in January if Stephen Bradley didn't throw a hissy fit about having League of Ireland players. So he needs. The reality is, Dawson White should, if a move comes up in the summer, being blunt, to go play at a higher level, he has to go take it, because he has the ability to maybe go and do it in the Ireland squad in the future, but he can't do it if he's playing for both. Simple as.
Yeah, and Aaron also says he was he with MK Dons. He didn't get a look in. Yeah, he was. Good few years ago now, though.
Yeah,
about 2-3 years ago, wasn't he? He made the move from both. So, yeah, fantastic to see him doing well. Of course, seen him play against Waterford actually when I went over a few years ago. Really, really good player. Neville thinks Neto is similar to Hazard, the massive dope. Says Rory.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it. No.
Oh, he's like that. And then even Martinez had to tell him no, he's not similar at all.
Jesus, yeah, no, but that's, I don't think they know what they're on about half the time. And Aaron, just publicising for us the great fun and crack we have on Lansdowne Raw Plus. Yeah, that was a class video. Dave choking too was hilarious. So yeah, you see a lot of extra content and things going on there as well. But yep, just want to say thank you to everybody for watching along again this evening. We have one more comment in there. Sorry, Nick also says here, Hodge is still a level above Devoy, in my opinion. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, we obviously do follow Hodge and seeing how he's getting on, of course, in Obig. Good to see him featuring. But yeah, just want to say thank you again for watching along tonight on another live show. It's been great fun. We've had Connor's fantastic predicted squad for the...
Even though it actually wasn't a predicted squad. It was a predicted squad without being a predicted squad.
Yeah, but we're going to have lots and lots of content, of course, in the lead up to the biggest game in Ireland's history for many, many years now. Ireland travelling over to Czechia, 26th of March. We'll have all the squad prediction shows. We'll have, when the squad's announced, we'll have the reaction show to that. All the interviews as well. We cover everything here on Lansdowne Raw, of course, as well. So make sure you have subscribed, like this show as well, pass it on to your friends. Irish football's at a massive high at the moment. The interest around it is incredible. We're really, really delighted that we've got a new partner involved with us, Travel Ego. So make sure you do have a check out of them and see all the services they offer. Some fantastic trips you can go on.
Martin, what else?
And lots and lots of sport.
If there's one travel, but we have a travel partner, but we don't have any other partners. So if you're one of the people watching right now and you know someone as a partner, whether it's for the upcoming international window or for a full year, the rest of the year, you get in contact with us because we're open to all newcomers. Unless you're a travel partner, obviously. We have it. That's off.
No. Look, we are really proud that we're supporting local Irish businesses as well. And we love the growth of the pod as well, and the channel we do as well, because we are by the fans for the fans, match going fans, as you know. We love meeting you all before the games. We're probably going to be around Dublin. Well, we will be around Dublin for, of course, match day on the 26th. We're going to have lots and lots of content coming out there to you as well. So make sure you have subscribed. Tell all your friends as well who follow Irish football about Lansdowne Raw. If you also listen to it on Spotify, you can also give us a 5-star rating. That really does help us. We've got a fantastic website set up now as well, so make sure you check out articles that are going to be coming out on that. We've got a fanzine coming out again for Czechia away, which will have loads and loads of content again as well. So fantastic team behind us. It's brilliant as well. We haven't had Dave on for a little while now on one of the live shows. We'll get him on very, very soon. But yeah, fantastic as well to follow the League of Ireland and everything Irish football. And what I want to say, final word tonight is, well, 2 final words. Thanks to Conor McAvoy for his fantastic input as usual, but also best of luck to our amazing girls in green as they take on France tomorrow.
And you've got one last thing.
That, of course. And my last thing
I have 4 words.
Yeah.
All hail King Didzy.
All hail King Didzy. We'll leave it there. Over and out for another Lansdowne Raw. But again, thank you very much for your support, and we'll catch you very, very soon.